Hello, Jingyuan. I'm very glad to meet you again. So, this is Winnie. I have received a few questions from Miss Chloe about your papers and tests. So, it's about the classification about triangles. This is what we have learned in summer holiday. So, let's take a look of all the triangles. So, first of all, we all know that triangles are a 2D shape with 3 sides. So this is a triangle, but we have different ways to classify triangles. The first way is we focused on the side lengths. Okay, so let's try to look at 3 different triangles. The first triangle, it is called isosceles. This kind of triangle, it is a triangle with 2 equal sides and a different side. So we can find these 2 sides, they are equal to each other and we have a different side. This kind of triangle is called isosceles. We just focus on the side lengths. Okay. The second kind of triangle is called equilateral. So for equilateral triangles, it means all of the 3 sides, they are the same. So this is the equilateral triangle. We focus on the side lengths, so 3 sides, they are all the same. The third kind of triangle, it is called scalene. So for scalene triangles, the 3 sides are all different. So this is one of the scalene triangle. Okay, the 3 sides, they are all different. Okay, so this is when we focused on the side lengths, we would have 3 kinds of triangles. And also, for a triangle, except for length, the side length, we also have the angles. Okay, so we have 3 angles for a triangle. So here, let's try to review what kind of angles do we have. The first angle is this one. This one is a very small angle, so we would call it acute angle. And also, we have a very special one. If we have a vertical line and a horizontal line, they meet at a point, and we have a small box at the corner, we can call it is a right angle. The third one is we have an obtuse angle. So this is a larger angle, very large angle. It's called obtuse angle. Okay, so just like we have 3 kinds of angles, we have 3 kinds of triangles. So when we come to triangles, when we focused on the angles, we would have acute angle triangle. Or we call it acute triangles. And we can have right angle triangle or right triangles. And we also have obtuse angle triangle. Okay, so what is acute triangles? Acute triangles are all of the 3 angles are acute angles. So it's a special one. All of the 3 angles are acute. Okay, and if we come to right angle triangles, that is, we would have a right angle. As soon as we have a right angle, then this angle can be called right angle triangle. And for obtuse triangle, it's quite similar. If we have one obtuse triangle, then we can call obtuse angle, we can call it is an obtuse angle triangle. Okay, so this is when we just focused on the angles, we would have three different kinds of triangles. So when you do the question, pay attention to what the question is or want you to looking for. If it's just want you to focus on the size, you would have isosceles, equilateral, and scaling. The three kinds of triangles focus on the size. But if it asks you to focus on the angles, do not care about the size. Just to focus on the angles, we would have three kinds of triangles: acute angle triangles, right angle triangles, and obtuse angled triangles. Okay, so this is when we separate angles in the size. Then we would have this 6 different kinds of triangles. But also, we can combine them together. And when we combined the two different aspects together, we would have different kinds of triangles. So in this table, I have marked all different kinds of triangles you can meet in your tests or examinations. So let's take a look at this table. So as you can see, in the first row, I have write down all the three kinds of triangles we can have by just looking at the size. And in the first column, I've write down all the different features by just looking at the angles. But when we combine them together, we can have different kinds of triangles. So the first triangle we can have is the scaling acute triangles, which is we have all of the three sides are different, and we have 3 acute angles. Okay, and the second kind of triangle we can have is scaling right angle triangle, which is we have 3 different sides, and we have 1 right angle, just 1 right angle. Okay, and the third triangle we can have is scaling obtuse angle triangle, which is 1, 2, 3. All of the 3 sides are different, and we have an obtuse angle. Okay, then let's move on to the next triangle. Next column. So in the next column, we have isosceles triangles, and at the same time, we classify them by different angles. So the first triangle you can have is isosceles acute angle triangle, which is we have 2 equal sides and 1 different side, but all of its angles are acute angles. So we have 3 acute angles. And then you can also have isosceles right angle triangle. So we have 2 sides that are the same and a different side, and we have 1 right angle. Okay, and the last one we have obtuse isosceles obtuse angled triangle. So that means we have 2 sides that are the same and a different sides. At the same time, we have 1 obtuse angle. Okay, and the last one we can have is equilateral triangles, and this one is very, very special because we only have 1 kind of equilateral triangles, and it must be acute triangles. So we can have equilateral acute angled triangles, but not equilateral right angled triangles or obtuse angled triangles. Okay, so this triangle is especially different. So we have 3 sides, they are all the same, and at the same time we would have 3 acute angles, and the 3 acute angles, they are all the same. And the reason why they are all the same, we would learn it in the future, so you do not need to worry too much about it. Okay, so this is what all kinds of triangles we can have. And then let's move back to your questions. So the first question, it wants us to find which is the most accurate description of this triangle. So in this triangle, we have find a very special angle because it's very, very obvious. So we find here we have a right angle, so we must have right angled. Okay, so you can first of all cross out equilateral triangles because it cannot have right angle, and you also find A and B, they all have right angled. So this time, what can we do? We can focus on the sides. Move on to the sides. So when we move on to the sides, we would find all of the three sides, they are different sides. So this kind of triangle, it is called scaling triangles. That's it. And we combine these two features together. Okay, so for angles, it's easier for you to observe because for right angle and obtuse angle is very easy to find. So as long as you find right angle, you can cross out many different choices, and then you focus on the size. Remember, we focused on one aspect at one time. Okay, then let's move on to the next question. The next question seems exactly the same, so we can find the angles. First of all, find the angles. We have a right angle, so it must be right angled one, okay? And then let's focus on the sides. We have find all of the three sides are different. So this angle, it is the same triangle you looked at in the last question. So it is called right angled scaling. Okay? And then the last question we'll look at is this question. So for this question, first of all, I can find a very special angle. This angle, it looks quite close to 90 degrees, but it is not a right angle. Remember, all the right angles will be shown a small box at the corner. Okay, as soon as you see the small box, it is a right angle. And this one, it is a little bit larger than the right angle, so it is an obtuse angle. Can you find any obtuse angled what in the question? No. So we do not need to care about the angles. We just find the size. So in this question, we find all of its three sides, they are all different. So we can choose scaling. That's it. Okay, so scaling is the answer we can choose. Okay, and I think that's all for all of your three questions. If you have any other questions, you can come back to me and ask me some questions. I'm looking forward to your reply.